Less than a month ago, when I did the video about the Republican candidates for president, I poked fun at Rick Santorum for having so little support. Then, a few weeks later, in a fourth frantic attempt by the religious conservative base to launch another candidate high enough to defeat Romney, who's still their best hope for beating Obama, they got Santorum within 8 votes of Romney in the closest primary contest of any state ever. What they can't do, though, is erase one of the top Google results for Santorum, which you can read below. After comments comparing same-sex couples to people who enjoy sex with dogs back in 2003, a gay rights activist made a website dedicated to creating that new definition for Santorum's name. It's kind of like mob justice, internet style. Rick Santorum is, of course, very much against gay marriage, and he blames it for the erosion of families and the usual laundry list of problems that many conservatives try to pin that on. Unfortunately for Rick, this argument is becoming weaker and weaker, even among people who are generally aligned with him on other issues. A big reason for this is that gay marriage is no longer an abstraction. It actually exists in some fairly large states and countries now, so we can actually see if there are any consequences, and of course there aren't. A handful of states, including Iowa and New York, now allow gay marriage, and our next-door neighbor Canada allows it too. In Canada it's been allowed for years, and somehow Canada has not caught fire, split in two, and descended into hell, despite Pat Robertson's warnings to the contrary. In fact, it seems that absolutely nothing has happened because of it. Sorry, Santorum, what are you gonna do about it, eh? Not only that, but Santorum has said he's going to bring the don't ask, don't tell policy back to the military, if elected. In his endless benevolence, of course, nobody that came out since the policy was lifted will be forced out of the military and lose their jobs. His excuse for this, one that I've heard before, is that sex and sex preference should not be an issue in the military. Now, I'm pretty sure that gay soldiers were not fighting for the right to talk about their sexual conquests with their fellow soldiers, although I guarantee that happens all the time with the heterosexual soldiers, nor are they asking for permission to have sex in the back of a Humvee. It seems they just want to be able to do their jobs like anyone else, and not have to worry about the repercussions of being outed and then fired from their job of serving our country. And Rick Santorum wants to bring that fear back for them. Rick Santorum is predictably against abortion rights, but the shocking part is that he even goes a few steps further. He doesn't like the provisions of the healthcare bill that relate to birth control, and thinks that insurance should be able to refuse to cover it, in keeping with his Catholic faith. No word on whether he's willing to pony up more money to help new mothers with their unwanted pregnancies, but my guess is that's not his concern. Even worse is his position against exceptions in the case of rape. I've done some videos about the abortion issue before, and I got plenty of people, nearly all men of course, stating that if women don't want any possibility of having kids, then they shouldn't have sex. Well, if any of those people are supporting Rick Santorum or any other candidate against a rape exception, then I don't ever want to hear that argument from them again. Even completely celibate women would have no reproductive choice. Even more chilling is a statement he made in Iowa in November. What he said was, "Our civil laws have to comport with a higher law, God's law." Note the wording here. He didn't just say he would try to use his faith to guide his feelings here, as others have said in the past. He's saying that our laws have to match what he thinks his version of God is whispering in his ear. Then just last week he said, "I don't want to make black people's lives better by giving them someone else's money. I want to give them the opportunity to go out and earn the money." Now, I don't even know what this means exactly. I guess it's the usual conservative nonsense about government programs making people unable to work. Santorum later denied saying black people, but watch the video and decide for yourself. Maybe he was just speaking in tongues. It does trouble me, but not surprise me that he has as much support as he does. A couple of my conservative friends actually want him to win, which is actually even more upsetting because I don't want to believe that they agree with him on some of those matters. I'd love to see them walk up to a gay Marine and tell him that they think he needs to hide who he is or be fired from his job, or tell a pregnant woman who was just raped that she needs to have that rapist baby because God said so. Fortunately, as horrible and anti-human as Santorum's views are, I don't think he has a realistic shot at winning, and that's certainly good news. Even if he did become president, actually, I don't think the famous Carnegie Deli could ever make a sandwich with Santorum in the name of it, because of that hilarious alternative definition of his name. Ah well, I guess we reap what we sow, as Christians like to say, right? Did someone order a Santorum milkshake? Anyone?